Welcome to the Swirl to Investment News Network. News by and for the Swirl to Investment community. Hope you enjoy. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay, I hope everybody's having a happy Tuesday night. Uh, Tonight, news reporting. Okay, I'm going to be covering divestment gone wrong, whatever that is. We're going to dig into that. And I'm going to cover black femicide. Okay, and I'm going to show you some news reportings that recently happened. And I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm going to talk about black femicide, and I'm going to cover divestment gone wrong. Because here on YouTube, we'll see a lot. We'll see videos, and people will frame it as divestment gone wrong. Okay, but they don't really talk about black femicide. Okay, i.e., black women being unalived. Okay, and I looked through the numbers, and the stats are horrible. Okay, anytime anybody is unalived is a horrible, bad thing. Okay, and it's evil. Okay, we live in an evil world, and but um, it just seems that nobody really talks about black femicide. They want it, unless it involves a white man. Okay, and they call it divestment gone wrong. Okay, but is it really divestment gone wrong, or is it an interracial relationship that went wrong? And then, if it's the same race, what will we call it then? Will we say same race gone wrong, same racial relationship gone bad? What do we call it? And do we even focus on it? Do we even care? Okay, and we do care, but we don't really show it. Okay, unless there's a certain element to it. And I'm going to dig into this. But before I do, I'm going to show you two stories of black women being uh, unalived, and, and and one's going to be a very young woman. One's going to be a woman, I'd say middle aged, 45. Okay, and I was researching one, and I stumbled on the other. Okay, there are so many stories about young black women being unalived by jealous boyfriends or relationships gone bad, and and it happens interracially. We're going to cover that, okay? And it happens within the same racial group, okay? And I'm going to cover that, okay? And some of you have seen these news stories. Most of you have, okay? And I'm going to hit up on a couple of past black femicide stories, okay? But now we'll go into what's happening now, okay? And The first one is Kada Scott case. You guys heard about that on the internet? It's blowing up. People talking about it. Okay, and then there's some elements about it. There might be other people involved, and not just the guy that unalived the woman. But anyway, let me go ahead and play this.
21-year-old Keon King.
Okay, start it from the beginning here.
Fox 29 News has learned that 21-year-old Keon King has an active protection from abuse order against him recently from a third young female in effect until 2027. That's in addition to the multiple kidnapping and related charges he's being held on $2.5 million bail on now in the disappearance of Kada Scott and the prior kidnapping case from earlier this year that was dismissed initially by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. It was refiled this week after King's arrest in the Kada Scott case.
Karen, call the cops.
Philadelphia police sources tell me this video, posted on social media and shared widely following King's arrest this week, is part of the evidence in the first kidnapping case, dismissed by the DA's office.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right here. Okay, you see he's in her backyard, right? And she's telling him to go away, and he's looking through the windows. Looks very shady. Okay, and that's not good. But this is the suspect that in the case that allegedly kidnapped her and unalived her.
Showing him walk up to the victim's window.
Keon out here.
Law enforcement sources tell me King was also a suspect in a prior rape case involving yet another woman, adding more to their belief that King has a pattern of very bad behavior with women. Sources tell me investigators found Kada's glasses, her iPad case, and her cell phone case, along with her bank card, in the search of this no longer used Philadelphia public school building yesterday. That's 2.5 miles, mostly down Stanton Avenue, from where she worked and was last seen. While King hasn't been as cooperative as detectives would like, sources tell me the young man that she was on a date with the night she was last seen did cooperate. She went on a date here to Topgolf Saturday night, arriving home at 9:45 p.m., just 5 minutes before her mother saw her leave for work. That young man told police how easily approachable Kada is, based on how he met her by just rolling down his car window and was able to easily strike up a conversation with her.
This is day 12 of Kada not being with us. And as you know, each day the desperation grows.
Kada's father on Good Day Philadelphia for the second straight morning, hoping to keep the public on alert for her, brought his two brothers with him, hoping to reach the person who may know King and may know what happened after police say she got into King's car.
There's one person out there that is a good friend of his that, you know, has a heart. And you know, understands the severity of this and speaks up.
Dad Kevin Scott wearing his daughter's name on his hooded sweatshirt over his heart, hoping someone watching with a good heart will hear him.
Let my daughter go. Bring my daughter back home. She has loved ones, family, friends that all care about her. She has a bright head on the shoulders, a great future. You know, people make mistakes. If she's alive and breathing, you know, just get her back home, you know?
We want her home.
At the Criminal Justice Center, Steve Keeley, Fox 29 News.
Okay. All right. Now you seen what was going on. At first, well, kind of getting ahead of myself here, but she was stalked by this guy. He was in her yard, and then she was missing, and her father and two brothers were pleading for her to be returned alive. And it's sad anytime a family goes missing, especially your children, you don't know if they're going to come back alive or not. And this happens every day in America, you know, and around the world. Okay. And when I get to the black femicide stats, it's going to be alarming. Okay. It keeps increasing. All right. And then here's another video of the case.
new details about the tragic death of Kata Scott. The man accused of kidnapping the 23-year-old is now charged with her murder. CBS News Philadelphia's Brendan Goldner live in our newsroom with the latest and this new timeline. Brandon, good morning.
That's right, Janelle. Good morning. We're still working to find out how Kata Scott was killed and when Keon King, the man accused of killing her, will be arraigned on this new charge. Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel made a promise to Scott's family, friends, and residents during a community meeting about safety.
We will not stop, ladies and gentlemen, till everyone who was responsible for her death is brought to bear.
As that search continues, newly released court records reveal on October 4th, Kata Scott received a dozen calls from Keon King as she was arriving to work. Those records say Scott texted King, quote, "Kidnap me again," and King replied, quote, "Better be up to," followed by plans to meet later that night. It's important to note we don't know the context of these messages. At the same time, court documents say a co-worker overheard an upset Scott on the phone saying, quote, "I can't believe you're calling me about this expletive." Court records show the last text between Scott and King said "CM when you hear" or "call me when you're here" at 10:09 p.m. Scott's seen leaving work a short time later. Cell phone data shows Scott and King arriving together at Aubrey Rec Center's parking lot next to the vacant Ada H.H. Lewis Middle School. Soon after, court documents reveal Scott's cell phone stopped transmitting a signal at 10:24 p.m. Sources tell CBS News Philadelphia they believe Scott was killed 20 minutes after she left work. Court documents show King had help. On October 5th, court records reveal a surveillance camera captured King and two other people in a rec center.
Okay, there's a surveillance camera that captured him and two other people. Okay, so when we dig into this case, he kidnapped her, but there were other people involved. Now, did they participate in unaliving Kata Scott, or did they participate in hiding the body? Okay, it's pretty disturbing. Not only that he did this evil deed and took this young lady's life, but there could be two other people involved. I don't know. It's crazy. And anyway, let's continue.
Parking lot next to the middle school. Two are seen moving what court papers describe as a heavy object consistent with a human body. Records say they then went to an area where Scott's body was eventually found. Investigators say the car King used to pick up Scott was set on fire on October 7th.
We continue to pursue anyone who helped, who concealed, who participated in this act.
King remains in jail. Again, we're working to find out when he'll be back in court to be arraigned on that murder charge. We reached out to King's attorney, but we have yet to hear back. Janelle.
All right. Thank you for that update, Brandon. And the tragic death of Kata Scott is now drawing attention to public safety and vacant properties in the city, including this vacant school where her body was found nearby. Dozens packed a community town hall last night in Germantown, blocks away from the Ada Lewis Middle School. Top city leaders, including the mayor, the police commissioner, who we heard from in Brandon's piece, and the school district of Philadelphia Superintendent Tony Watlington, were there to address residents' concerns.
I want you to know that we directed our team to check every one of our vacant properties.
Knock it down, leave it as support. Trees. Get rid of all this freaking junky cars they keep bringing around here. Get them out of here.
CBS News Philadelphia saw district crews cleaning the vacant fair.
Actually, that's kind of funny when he says, "Get these cars out of here, get it out of here, clean it up." Yeah, no, that's a good point. Vacant buildings are places where, of course, unalive body might be hidden, or bad things can happen out of sight, right? And that's where they hid the body, him and his accomplices, right? I'm not going to say allegedly hid the body, right? It appears they're moving an object that seemed like the shape of a body, right? And that would be a good place, an old abandoned school and a bunch of junk around, trees, it conceals the body. And, in my other video that I showed you, he he had priors with other women. Okay. Um, and it's just odd that the text message is going back and forth. And what was she saying? Kidnap me again, and you better be up to. And that just seems kind of odd. Did they have a thing going and it went bad? Was it jealousy? I think, in my opinion, what I see is it probably a relationship that was ended and he didn't want it to end. And it seems like he's a stalker and probably some jealousy going on and don't want to let go. And, you know, um, but unfortunately, a young lady's life has been taken. And for what? Because somebody got rejected, their feelings hurt. And the young lady, from what I got from the news uh, story, is that she was easygoing, and maybe she was more trusting than she should be. I don't know, um, but very young lady. She's a Penn State graduate too, and successful, very very pretty. And it's just sad. What a waste. And I would say to people that have issues, and if you get rejected, rejection is life. Move on. There's always somebody else. You don't have to take a life. That's totally unacceptable. But unfortunately, people are unstable and they act out of emotions and harm people because they don't feel a certain way for them or the relationship didn't go the way they wanted. Um, and I would just say to young women all over, be careful. Okay. It's not wrong to be friendly, but don't be too friendly and know who you're around. Okay. And it's just sad that she had videos of him in her yard and he ended up kidnapping her allegedly and allegedly unaliving her. But it's so sad. But I see stories like this every day. If I want to do a YouTube, if I wanted my YouTube channel to just be news stories on Black Femicide, I could do this every night. It would not be hard. The stories would not be hard to be found. Okay, and it's sad. Now, most men would not unalive women. Most men are okay. They might get their feelings hurt, rejected, and they move on. But some have problems and they can't move on. And they might feel like it's either you're with me or not, or they'll take you out. And you got to be careful. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and take this down. But remember her name, Kata Scott. Okay. Young lady had everything going for her. Educated Penn State graduate. From what I learned, had a business going. Had her whole life ahead of her. Very successful young lady to have her life taken so young. And it's sad. And the guy that did it, what was he thinking? He just ruined his life. Was it for rejection? I don't know. Was it jealousy? Anyway, sorry. Let me remove that real quick. And I got another sad story I got to show you guys. Another black woman, life taken. Now, this woman is a bit older. She's 45, has children. A very sad case. Let me go ahead and play this.
Only on 16 WAPT, the Clinton community is remembering a 45-year-old mother of 3 killed in her home. Jasmine Singleton was found shot Monday night. Her sister is heartbroken. Her friends are in shock. And her accused killer is the man she once loved. Good evening and thanks for joining us here at 10. I'm Megan West.
And I'm Troy Johnson. As police begin to work their case, Jasmine Singleton's loved ones are demanding justice and sending a message to others trapped in the shadows of domestic violence. Speak up before it's too late. In a story you'll only see here on 16 WAPT, our own Brooklyn Joyner spoke with those who knew and loved her. She joins us live in Clinton tonight with what they shared. Brooklyn.
Troy and Megan, Jasmine's friends and family says that she should still be alive today. They said that they will always remember her kind and caring personality. The vibrant spirit of Jasmine Singleton gone too soon, but will always be remembered by those who loved her.
We did the karaoke, and she was the background singer to me.
Her sister, Deandra, is angry about her sister's murder as she shares memories of the 45-year-old's life.
Why would you do that to my sister? My only sister, my oldest sister.
Singleton was found shot to death on her kitchen floor in Clinton Monday night. Less than a day later, her ex-boyfriend, 42-year-old Carl D. Mack, was arrested and charged for her murder.
You know the saying, to death do us part? That's what it was. He was jealous. He didn't want to let her go. So instead, being a man, he was a coward, and he took her away from us.
Deandra said Mack was a violent person, and Singleton broke up with Mack months ago to protect her 3 children.
She spoke up, but it wasn't enough.
Now Singleton's community is cherishing the memories they had with her, including her makeup artist who she had known since high school.
The whole time I have her face in my hands, and I'm sculpting her eyebrows, creating the look that she wants. She was always a sweet, happy, loving, gentle, bright, happy spirit.
Although Singleton lost her life, Deandra said she is proud of her sister for speaking up against domestic violence and encourages others to continue to do the same.
Everyone has to speak up. When you see these red flags, you have to speak up.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. But let me rewind it a little bit. Look at this. Let me get a photo. That's her and 3 daughters. Wow. They will not have their mother. Their mother will not be coming home. Why? Because the relationship didn't work? Because hurt feelings, broken heart, till death do us part type stuff. And some people don't take it together till death do us part, meaning, I'm with you as long as I live. Some people they'll take your life if you break up with them or break off the relationship. It sounds like that's what this guy did. Just like the other guy, jealousy. And so many cases. The biggest amount of violence comes from domestic disputes. Most unaliving comes from domestic situations. People in a relationship, in a marriage. It goes bad and some can't let go, so they take other people's lives. But now she got 3 children that won't have a mother. For what? Some things are meant to be and some are not. But you can't take lives.
Against domestic violence and encourages others to continue to do the same.
Everyone has to speak up. When you see these red flags, you have to speak up.
At this point, her funeral arrangements have not been planned, but as we get more details on that, we will keep you updated. I'm live at the Clinton Police Department. Brooklyn Joyner, 16 WAPT News.
All right, Brooklyn, thank you. Well,
okay. Two sad cases of black femicide. One, a young lady, okay, Kata Scott, and the other young lady, Jasmine Singleton. Remember those names, okay? And when you go into your prayers, remember those names and pray for their families. Their family is heartbroken. I can just imagine their mother and father, what they're going through, losing a child. And it's sad. For what? Because the relationship don't work. I know we all get heartbroken, but you can't take a life. It's just so sad. And this is critical. Know the red flags before you get in a relationship. I know that's easier said than done because sometimes you never know. But it's sad. And Jasmine Singleton case, I stumbled upon that. I don't think that's even national news. A lot of these black femicide stories aren't making national news. No, Kata Scott did, but what about Jasmine Singleton? I mean, I can go on night for night and find something. Anyway, but the video's fair use for educational purpose, news reporting. Okay. But some of the stories that go out, we don't even see because they keep them in the national news area. They don't go national. They keep them local. I mean, did I say, they keep them local and they don't go national. A lot of cases we don't hear about, but a lot of cases I hear and see on news when it comes to black femicide, a lot of it's jealousy. A lot of it's not being able to let go when a relationship goes bad. Okay. And some people can't handle it. So they'll take a life before they let go. It's sad. And we're human. Not everybody has, we all don't have perfect relationships. Sometimes they go bad. Sometimes, we get heartbroken. But we can't harm people for it. But anyway, I'm going to go over some black femicide stats here that I just looked up on the internet. Okay. All right. Now, if you look here, I hope you guys can see it. Based on 2020 FBI data for single victim, single offender incidents, 91% of black women unalived by a man were killed or unalived by a black man. 91% of black women unalived by black men. Okay. The most common pattern were both victim and offender are same race. Okay, and what that's saying is when it comes to black femicide, 91% of the perpetrators are black men that are unaliving black women. Okay. And then this is stats from 2020 based on race. Black men, 91% unalived black women. Okay. And then white men, we always hear about divestment gone wrong, right? Here it says 8% of black women were unalived by white men. Okay. So the divestment gone wrong crowd out there that puts that out there, they're helping out with 8% of the problem. They're ignoring 91% of the problem. Okay, and it says here, these are FBI stats. These aren't just made up numbers. And then other race, 1% of other races. And Hispanic, Asian, but the biggest problem is, and people will say, well, Roadrunner, most black women are with black men. And yeah, that's true. That makes sense. So there is going to be a bigger number. Okay. Just like white men, it's white women unalived are mostly done by white men because they're mostly together, right? Makes sense. But when it comes to black femicide, 91% is black men, 8% is white men, and 1% is other. So I'm just saying, when we say divestment gone wrong and just focus on that when it comes to black femicide, we're ignoring what, 92% of the problem? 91 black and 1% other? Shouldn't we be attacking the whole problem? Okay. And like I said, most men will not do this, will not unalive their girlfriend or wife, even when it goes bad. But there are crazy people out there. There are good and bad in every group. Okay. But these are the stats. So when you see somebody said, oh my God, black women, when you get with a white man, this is what happens. And they show some creepy white dude unaliving a black woman and try to make it seem like only white men are doing this. Look at the stats. Look at the numbers. These divestment jokers, the divestment gone wrong jokers, they will not give you the data. They will only show you a certain group. They'll only show you white men harming black women. They will not show you black men doing it. Of course they won't. Okay? But are we just trying to stop interracial relationships? Or are we trying to stop black femicide? Okay? And I want to put those numbers out there. And you can look at them. You can look them up. Okay? Now let's look at this. Okay? Women homicide rates. Okay? Highest rates. Black women have the highest rates of homicide of any racial or ethnic group in the United States. Okay, so what's it saying? Statistically, black women are unalived more than any other group of women in the United States. Okay, disproportionate risk. Okay, here's a 2017 CDC report. Okay, a 2017 CDC report found black women were twice as likely to be unalived as women of other races. So in 2017, black women are unalived twice as much as other races. Okay? Worse than white women. Okay? Now, a 2025 National Institute of Health study analyzing 2020 data found the homicide rate for black women was 11.6 per 100,000. Okay? So almost 12 per 100,000. Nearly 4 times higher than the rate of 3 per 100,000 white women. Okay, so now it's getting even worse according to that stat. Now it's like almost 4 times. Black women are being unalived almost 4 times what white women are. What's going on? Okay, and I know people will put in lots of stuff. Well, it's poverty, racism, white supremacy, this and that. I would put something in there. I'd say, how about accountability? How about we don't harm women in society? Okay. Now, women of all races are unalived by men of all races. Okay. It's not just a divestment gone wrong problem. It's a societal problem. Okay. And according to numbers, divestors aren't the ones taking the biggest hit. Just saying. Okay. Okay, so if you look at that, 11.6 per 100,000 of black women are unalived. Now, white women are only 3 per 100,000. Okay, increasing risk. The unaliving, okay, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, so I say unaliving. Okay, the unaliving rate of black women and girls increased by 33% in 2020, a sharper rise than any other demographic except black men. So I guess black men are number 2. Okay, 33% it rose in 2020. Okay, do they have the, wow. Okay, so you could look this up. You could look in the FBI stats. You could look in the CDC, many other studies. Okay, and when someone's unalive, they have an actual body. So you can't say, well, it's a misappropriating of the numbers. No, this is real stuff. Black femicide is real. Okay, and it's not just the black community problem, it's an American problem. And whose fault is it? It's all our fault. We need to do better to stop this, to protect black women. How do we do that? Of course, we can only do so much as an individual. And I would say to women, especially black women, you gotta look for the red flags and not be so easygoing like that young lady. They said she's easygoing. Now, I don't know what that meant. Maybe she's just friendly. That don't mean she lets anybody in her life, but who knows? Okay, but the stats are just out of control. But like I said, most men aren't going to do this. So I'm not going to say this is what black men do when you get with a black man, black women. I'm not saying that. Okay? I'm just telling you the numbers. And I would tell those divestment gone wrong jokers, how about you tell the whole story? How about you tell who's unaliving black women the most? Okay? And don't just get on an agenda to stop interracial relationships. How about we tell the whole truth? Okay? Okay, now anyway, this divestment gone wrong stuff. You hear it all the time. What is divestment? Okay, most people think that an interracial relationship, if the black woman's with a non-black man or a white man, she's a divester. I'm going to tell you, that's not necessarily true. Can she be? Yes. If she's dating a white man, does that make her a divester? No. If she's married to a white man, does that make her a divester? No. Okay? All right? Makes her a swirler. Okay? And maybe they might want to repackage their little videos to scare black women away from white men and say swirling gone wrong. That makes more sense than divestment because I don't think they even know what divestment is. Okay? Now, let's put this up here, okay? You can look this up. Maybe do some research. Maybe talk to someone that's a divester, okay? In the context of relationships, particularly concerning black women, divestment refers to the intentional practice of a black woman ceasing her emotions, relational, and social investment in the black community. Okay? That is the framework for liberation and well-being that prioritizes the self which can sometimes result in interracial relationships. Don't mean it's going to, but it can. A lot of times it does. Though this is not the movement's sole purpose. Okay? So divestment movement, their single purpose is not interracial dating. Okay? It's the intention, practice, ceasing emotional connection relating to social investment in the Black community. Okay? Now, does every Black woman that opens up her option to date out, is that what she is? No. Okay? There are pro-Black women that love the Black community, just don't want to leave the Black community, but attracted to white men. It happens. Okay? Okay, just because someone swirls does not make them a divester. And white men out dating Black women are not divestors. Okay, they're more, I call, investors. Okay, well, the ones that take their swirl to investment, they're interracial dating to marriage. Okay, so do these women fit that narrative? Okay, but that's what it is. It's woman ceasing emotional relationship, relational, social investment in the Black community. Okay, maybe she feels safer getting out of the Black community, going to another community. And if a woman feels like she's got to leave her community, let her do it. Maybe there's a reason. Okay. Now, here's another slide on divestment. Okay. Okay, and the purposes. Expanding dating option. Divestment means not limiting oneself only to Black partners and being open to dating people of other races based on compatibility rather than race. Okay, divest women. A lot of them ain't dealing with Black men. Okay, they're done. And why would you try to force a woman to go with a certain group? That would be like white men saying, "Oh, white women that go to Black men, shaming them and trying to get them back." No, once they go, let them go. You know, people should be with who they want to be with, and they have the right to be with any community they want to be with. But we don't give them that respect, do we? We just shame them. All right. Also, reframing the purpose for some interracial dating is a side effect of putting their needs first rather than a primary goal. The focus is on finding a partner who is respectful and supportive regardless of race. Okay? Now, do divested women only date white men? No. It might be Asian, it might be Hispanic, it might be another race, okay? And it's not the sole purpose of interracial dating. All right, addressing toxicity. Some proponents of the movement argue that it is a response to negative or toxic experiences with the Black community, particularly romantic in relationships with Black men. Critics, however, content that some interpretations of the movement miscategorize all Black men as inherently toxic. Okay. All right. So the people that are against divestment, okay, their biggest criticization that I see is negative of Black men. Okay. But in their situation, you know, a lot of divested women I talk to have had bad relationships within their community. The men, okay, And that's their experience. It's their experience. What can you do? Let a woman be happy with whoever she wants to be with. Okay? I support divestment 1000%. Okay? And some people say, Roadrunner, what if white women divested from white men? I say, hey, I would be all for it too. Okay? And if my so-called white community is not protecting black women and they're being assaulted unalived at a higher rate than any other community, I have to let them go. In fact, I should move heaven and earth to get them to a safe place, right? Just saying. Okay, so that's a little bit on divestment. And look, I'm not a subject matter expert on divestment, but what I do is I look and I search for information. I talk to people that are divested. I talk to black women that are divested, and I ask them, I ask them why they do it. What does it mean? And I want to know so I don't, misrepresent them in any way or be disrespectful in any way. Okay. But, okay, leave divestors alone. Let them live their life. That's what I say. And besides, and to the men that have a problem with divestment and think it's so bad, look, black women outnumber black men by over 2 million. So you're not going to lose on black women. So let the women go where they want to go and respect them and love them. That's their right. Okay? Anyway, but are we focusing because of the hate of divestment that we see videos of divestment gone wrong and it's a black woman with a white man, and to tell black women this is what happens when you get with the white man, acting like it don't happen with the black man. But I showed you the numbers, right? And I'm not here to bash nobody. I'm just saying the numbers are the numbers. You can like it or not. Hey, but do your own research. Okay? And one of the biggest stories we always see, they keep showing this video, this picture. Okay? Let me take this down a little. Okay, you remember this case? Sade Robinson. Okay? Got with this creepy older white dude and he unalived her. Okay, and I have no problem with people reporting the news. This is the truth. Okay? A white man did it. Okay? It's sad. Okay? He's part of the problem of black femicide. There are white men unaliving black women. Newsflash, it's happening. But what's the percentage? Okay? Maybe that's what we need to look in and understand all people are evil. Now, this is plastered all over the place. Like I said, I have no problem. But let's show other black femicide stories. How about that? They won't do it, though, because it don't feed the narrative. Do the divested, gone wrong jokers, do they care about black femicide, or they just want to show the worst a white man can do to keep black women away from him and then ignore when a black man does it? I'm just asking. I'm just saying. But, this was a sad case. A beautiful young black woman, unalived. And I think this dude was a walking red flag. Number one, he's so much older than her. And when you're a young woman, that's a red flag. Older guys love younger women because they can exploit them easier. Okay? Now, this guy's sick in the head. He did such horrible stuff. Okay? And see, I'm covering it. Hey, I'm not going to hide it because he's a white guy. That would be stupid and that would be wrong. Let's tell the truth. Come on, divestment gone wrong. Let's show the whole story. Okay? Okay, you got catalogs of white guys doing it. What happens when a black guy does it? I'm just saying. Now here's what I call divestment gone wrong. Okay? You see this young lady, beautiful young lady, very young. You see these 8 jokers here next to her. Some are men, some are women. Okay? And this is Mahogany Jackson is her name. Okay? Her life was taken real young. Okay? Now, she didn't get with a white man. She didn't open up her options. She was not a divester. But I call this divestment gone wrong. And you say, Roadrunner, how can you call it divestment gone wrong? She didn't divest. Exactly. Right? Now, people ain't going like that, right? Because we're showing another story. Okay? These 8 people, black men and black women, that assaulted this young lady. They beat her. They pistol whipped her. They raped her over and over, tortured her. And then when it was all said and done, put a bullet in the back of her head. Do we cover this? I don't see this story blasted everywhere. Now, some people did cover it because they care about black women and black femicide and they want black women to be safe. And I give them a thumbs up. But not everybody covers everything. Because this is a bad look on the black community, is it not? Now, like I said, most people will not do these evil things. Okay? But we can't hide the truth. We can't just show one side of, you can't just show one side of evil. We got to show it all. Now, I would say that's divestment gone wrong. And that young lady's situation, she should have left the community. She should have left where she was, and she should have got rid of her friends because her friends unalived her and moved on, divested. Some people are going to say, no, Roadrunner, what are you talking? That's not right. You know? But like I said, most people aren't going to do this. Okay, but there are too many people that are doing it. Okay? Okay, so I show you 2 stories, okay? And I told you this, the data, the stats. Black femicide, a big problem, right? Black women are almost 4 times unalive than white women. And yes, there are white men doing this, unaliving black women, and we need to get a hold of it, okay? We need to take care of that 8%, okay? But we also need to take care of the 91% and the 1%. Yeah, and black women are only, that's right, only 6%. This is data. This is the truth. But we don't care about that. We just want her to stay away from the white man because that would be wrong. They might fetishize her, but 91% of black men are unalive in her, according to the FBI stats. But we need to take care of the 8% of white men doing it, sure. But my thing is, and I have no problem them showing a white guy that's done evil deeds. No problem at all. But when you just show one side, that's telling people you're actually lying because you're telling half the truth. You know? And I think a lot of it, black femicide, I people say, well, it's poverty. Yeah, that's part of it. Jealousy. Okay. A lot of black women are doing amazing things. Okay. Moving up with their education, the corporate world. Okay. I see a lot of black women in the medical field. A lot of nurses, and some become doctors. Okay. Um, I have a specialty doctor, and she's a black woman, a doctor, right? Um, Black women are doing amazing things, and a lot of times people get jealous, you know, and maybe and look, y- the thing of it is I would always tell women, get with a man that's has more than you. And the reason I say that, and people say, well, Roland, it's about love. It's not about money. It's not about material things. Okay, I get that. But then again, the man has to provide. And us as men, naturally, we want to provide. Um, it's not fun when the woman's providing everything, right? And a lot of times men will get jealous. Their egos will be knocked down. They feel some kind of way. Um, most men just be sad and deal with it or move on, but some can't, you know. And if a man ever stalks you, ladies, you need to get away. You need to call the police. And there should never be a man going in your backyard looking in your windows. Something's wrong. That's a red flag. A man that will go that far will probably unalive you. I'm just saying. You know, and looking at the stats, are black women safe in their own community? And I'm not saying white communities are the safest paradise place, but when it comes to economics, when it comes to safety, when it comes to survival, we live in a real evil world. You got to be very careful, especially women. Women of all races, you need to be careful. Okay? Now, I'm just saying, I just want to put this data out there because I see so much. Divestment got robbed black women. When you give it to white men, this is what's going to happen to you. I hear people online saying that white men are unaliving black women more than black men do, which is a lie. We look at the stat. Black women are mostly with black men, so how can white men be the most doing this? Okay? But when we don't have accountability, and I think this is the biggest problem, what it stems from, more so than poverty, and it's accountability. And when you're raised and told you're great, and you with a woman, and she tells you you're not that, and she breaks your heart, why was your heart broken? Did you do the wrong thing? Were you abusive? A lot of these guys that unalive these women, it was a lot of times it was their fault. A lot of times they were abusive. A lot of times they were controlling, abusive, jealous, and relationship didn't work, and they couldn't move on. You know, and we all deal with rejection. We all deal with bad relationships. I know I did, and I've been rejected plenty of times. But I never had enough anger to hurt somebody. That was never in me. I never laid no hands on no woman, and no man should. Okay? If she rejects you, that she rejects you. Move on. I know it's easier said than done, but you can't resort to violence. And maybe you learn something from the relationship where you messed up, and then when you move on, you find somebody and you do right the next time. But you can't if you don't have accountability and it's not your fault. And that's what's lacking in today's modern man. Lack of accountability. Okay? A lot of men today aren't raised to be traditional, to take care of the woman and children. We're taught, oh, love is love. And 50-50, you bring in yours, and then it ends up being 60-40 or 80-20 at the end. And, it's sad. And we're in a society where marriage rates are low, out of wedlock birth rates are high, and that's across the board. And I'm telling you, get to know somebody, get to know their character. Okay? Don't listen to this propaganda online. Yeah, there's evil white men, there's evil black men, there's evil Hispanic men. You got to find the good man, the man with character. And I tell men, you cannot have a traditional woman if you're not a traditional man. It don't work that way. You can't be a modern day man and have the traditional woman at your feet cooking and cleaning and rubbing your feet while you do what you want. It don't work that way. A lot of times women did the cooking and cleaning because the man had the work. Back in the day, he wasn't home a lot. So the woman had no choice. And then the man had no choice. He had to work. I mean, my grandfather worked 6 days a week for most of his life. My grandmother didn't do anything but house cleaning, take care of the children. She didn't even drive. That's back in the day tradition. Okay, the world's changed. Okay? But you can still be in a traditional marriage, a traditional family. But and when I look at this black femicide, I'm telling you, it's our fault as men. Oh man, I messed up a setting on my thing. Okay, let me see here. I don't know how I did that. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. This new StreamYard thing, they raise the prices and it just, all this extra crap. Sometimes the settings go out of whack. Okay. But tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen, the point I want to make is do your research. Okay? Don't just believe anything people tell you. Okay? When you and it makes me mad because it's wrong. Because people are pushing a false narrative. Okay? They're vilifying divested women, and they're not looking at why they're divested. They're not looking at their situation. And they can't just let a woman go and to a safe place and heal and do her thing. Okay, you don't have to believe in it or not, but give people respect to go where they want to go, love who they want to love. Okay, and the biggest thing I hate is people that push a false narrative, like the divestment gone wrong. They'll show those videos all the time to get black women to think white men and non-black men are so dangerous that you have to stay with the black man. Okay? And I'm calling it out. Most white men won't say what I say, but I'm going to say it. And this is what's happening. They'll show those videos. They'll show the worst of the worst. while ignoring what's going on in the black community. And when they see a black woman with a white man and it goes bad, they call it divestment gone wrong, right? What do we call it when we see a black man unalive a black woman? What do we call that? Or do we just ignore that? It seems to be that with this case, as long as you're the same race, you can harm each other, right? I don't know. But if you're a white guy, it's just wrong. Or we just ignore what's going on. And, you know, I'm just saying. But look at the numbers. Look at the data. In a time, in a world that we live in, we need to search for, if we want a relationship, we want a marriage, whether you're a man or a woman, you need to search for character over color. Okay? This segregated mindset we're living in, where we can only be with our own race, is crap. Okay? If you end up with your own race, nothing wrong with that either. I'm just saying, be where you want to be. Love who you want to be. And I encourage people, open up your options. Get to know other people. I tell white men and non-black men all the time, I say, get to know black women. You know? You want a woman that cares for you, that has traditional values? There's a lot of black women that have that. A lot of black women of faith. And my family, within the church I grew up in, there were black people in there. There were black women that were amazing. And you know, and black women are doing amazing things. And if you're a jealous man and you can't take it, leave black women alone, because a lot of black women are successful doing amazing things. But, you know, the way I've been brought up, if you can't afford a wife, you don't deserve a wife. And if that woman's higher level than you economically, you don't deserve her either. Okay? That's how I've been raised. I've been raised that the man is responsible for the family, for the finances, to provide food and shelter. That's our responsibility. Now, there's nothing wrong with if your wife wants to work and has a career, and you know, a lot of people put their money together to live the life they want to live, okay? I'm not against that. Okay? What I am against is men dependent on women. I don't like that. Okay? If you go together 50-50, it should be a choice that the woman you're with wants to do that. Okay? If not, it's your responsibility as a man. You say, well, things are so expensive today and you can't make it. Yeah, you can. But do you need 3 cars? Do you need an Audi in the garage? Do you need the biggest TV? Do you need to have the best house on the block? See, traditional people made it back in the day. They budgeted their money. They lived within their means. We can do that in today's world. Do you need 3, 4 cars? Do you need the biggest house? Do you need to wear the finest clothes? Do you have to have a BMW, or is a Toyota okay? You can make it with the man. Look, my time when me and my wife got married, I was the only source of income for several years till our kids grew up. We made it work. We didn't have much money, but we paid our bills. We ate. We, raised our kids. And then when they got older, my wife got her career, and once I retired out of the Army, my career blew up, and been blessed. But most of our life has been living paycheck to paycheck, pinching pennies, making it work. And I'm glad I went through that because I know how to manage money. My wife knows how to manage money. That's that's a beautiful thing. But anyway, enough of that. But my thing tonight, guys, is have your standards, ladies. Okay? Look for those red flags. Some of these ladies miss those red flags and it costs them their life. Okay? And I know we're human. I missed red flags and I got into trouble, okay, with relationships because we get into, how somebody looks and we're attracted to them and we have fun with them, but we don't look inside. We don't see what they're about. We don't get to know their character. And open up your options. Okay? We live in an amazing country here. They're very diverse. Every group of people in the world's in America. Okay? And if you have a preference, you don't have to go across the seas, overseas. You don't have to get a passport to meet. You got it all in America. You got beautiful, amazing black women in America. Black women are my preference. I don't have to go to Africa. I don't have to go to Jamaica. I don't have to go to Canada, UK to find a black woman. Now, black women from all those places are amazing and beautiful. Okay? Black women are amazing no matter where they're at. But what I'm saying is, well, for me, I got roots in where I live. I've always dated women that are in the town I live in, at home. My wife is from the same town I am. And I'm not against dating or marrying someone from another state, another country, and all that. Nothing wrong with that. I just never did it. Why? I mean, but have your standards, okay? I always felt, well, I guess yeah. I just think in my mind that you're safer with women in your own country because you go overseas, especially a third world country, they might want a green card. They might not really be so much into you, but be into what you have, your material wealth, you know. And I would, if I was single at my age, I would not be with somebody that was younger or older than me. I just wouldn't do it. It'd be the same age. Okay. But I'm married and God forbid anything happened to my wife, that's it. Not getting married again, would never have a relationship. You know, because God gave me a wife, one wife. But and I would say to people, open up your options. But if you're an older white guy, get with an older black woman. Okay, don't go for these younger girls. That's kind of, I know it makes some people mad because there's some people that I love that have big age groups. Okay, I just don't do that. I'd rather be with somebody within my own age group, right? And I am, but anyway, um, but look at the stats, guys. When you see this stuff out there, it's propaganda. Okay, there's a big push to stop interracial relationships, interracial marriage. There's a big push to vilify black women and white men together. Okay, that's the one combination people do not like to see. Okay, so they're going to show the worst that a white man can do. Okay, that creepy dude that unalive Sade Robinson, they'll show that day and night over and over and over again. Okay, they won't show Mahogany Jackson that much because the white man didn't do that to her. Okay, they don't want the whole truth. They want us eliminate black women and white men relationships. Okay, they want black women to be race loyal, and a lot of times black women have told me they've been conditioned to fear white men. That white man is the devil. He's done everything wrong. Anything that's gone bad ever, the white man did. Okay, and that's all this is. And these people divestment gone wrong jokers. That's what I call them. Because that's all they talk about. And why? Do they care about the safety of black women? Is that why they do it? That's what they'll tell you, but it's not, because they would focus on the 91% of the men that are unaliving black women. And that would point back to their community. So they can't do that, right? Or don't want to do that. But anyway, and like I said, there's good and bad in all groups. So I'm not going to bash one race, one ethnicity, because there's good and bad in all. It's not the skin tone that develops you as a person, it's what's in your heart, your character, your integrity. Okay? And black women, you're too valuable to deal with men that are jealous, men that are trying to control you, men that don't value you. Okay, you're too valuable. And I'd say to black women, go for the man that loves you, that you love. Okay, you got to love him too. You got to be attracted to him too. Don't get with an older white guy because he's got money. That'll never end up well. Don't get to that sprinkle thing, right? Looks glamorous. You know, beautiful, cute little black women running around with the older white guy. That to me, no. Mm-mm. That'll never end well. Okay. Now I do tell black women, be hypergamous, find a man that you're attracted to, you're in love with, that makes a good living, does good things, that has wealth. I'm all for that. Okay. But be careful. Okay. Younger women especially. You got to have your guard on at all times. You are a target. Okay. Older men of all races will target young black women. Why? Or they'll target young women, period. You know why? Because you're young. You haven't experienced life. Easier to manipulate. Okay? That's one of the big reasons. Be careful. Okay? There's predators all over the place, of all colors. Okay? And ladies, don't think because you escaped the evil black man that there won't be an evil white man out there. They're there. And vice versa. Okay? Have your standards. Be safe, ladies. Okay? And I'm especially talking to black women. You're too valuable. You're too beautiful. You're amazing women. You're doing amazing things. Black women, you're rising to the challenge. You're adapting and overcoming. You're showing the world how beautiful and amazing you are. You're showing the character you have. And even though your situation might not be the greatest, you're making it happen. Okay, that's beautiful. That's powerful. Don't give that to the wrong man. Okay? Man's got to be worthy of you, worthy of your beauty, worthy of your character, worthy of your loyalty, your love. Put yourself first. Black women need to start putting themselves first. Okay? Because I'm serious. Black women are in the most danger. Okay? The biggest group of women that's unalived is black women. Okay, I don't want black women to go around scared, but you gotta understand the situation. You gotta understand what's going on. Okay, I'm just saying I see too many of these videos. Like I said, I could do a video every night of a black woman that's unalived, whether it be a black guy, white guy, Hispanic guy. I could go on and on. Okay, black femicide is real. It's not some made up thing that people say, "Oh no, it's not true. It's just made up." No, it ain't. We got FBI stats. We got several studies that tell us. Like Malcolm X said back in the 60s, before he was assassinated, he said black women are the most unprotected, most disrespected. That's in the 60s. And you say, okay, well, Jim Crow and racism, yeah, I get it. But it's actually true to today. And a lot of disrespect is coming from black men. I'm just telling the truth. Okay, not all, not all. Okay, when I put out, not all people are doing this, but we can't hide from the truth. Okay, and a man without accountability is a failed man. Oh, hey Shelly, how's it going? Hello.
You.
Hey, how you doing? I hope you weren't waiting long. I was just going on and on.
No, I just came on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it flashed. It said you were up there.
I know. I
guess
just
it's a
I
new
just came
feature.
on.
How
Yeah,
are you doing tonight? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. It's good to see you too. I appreciate this topic. I think that a lot of times with the Black community has a hard time of self-reflecting, and they have this thing that to blame others for the issues that they create, and that's the problem. They don't want to look within.
Yeah.
And this is why a lot of people started side eyeing the whole Black Lives Matter movement, because it's like it doesn't seem like Black Lives Matter to Black people
Right.
when it's another Black person. And that's why a lot of people was like, they became disillusioned with the whole movement, is because it's like, well, look what's going on in your community. Black men unalive each other at a higher rate than any other group, including
Right.
police officers. And yet and still nobody would come out and march and say, hey, we got to stop um, the crimes within our community. And even several years back, there was, I don't know if you remember this whole thing called black on black crime. And
Yeah.
you had a lot of Black people that was saying that was racist, because there's no such thing as black on black crime, because Black people live around other Black people. And so
Mhm.
that's why they unalive each other. So that happens within every other racial group. So to bring that up, that would be racialized, but it's not, because no other group is unaliving themselves at a high rate than you're unaliving yourself. And then y'all sing about it in y'all songs about unaliving yourselves and stuff like that, and running up on ops, and that's not spoken about. You know what
Right.
I mean? So this whole Black Lives Matter, Black lives only matter when it's another race. It include preferably a white police male officer.
Yeah.
That's when it matters. But you know, but
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, and I think this divestment gone wrong. Uh, People that make those videos, I think it's like the same thing. They're never talking about black women being unalived when it's black men. It's just a man of a different race, preferably white. Um, and black femicide is a problem that we're all guilty of. Okay, 91% is black men, but there is 8% that are white men doing it. So, we need to be held accountable. And I don't have no problem with people doing news reports. And if it happens to be a white guy that unalived a black woman, hey, put it out there. The truth is the truth. But when that's all you show, you're putting a false narrative that black women are safe unless they go to a white man. And that ain't true. It's all about character. Now, what I will say is people, when it comes to homicides and crime, uh, you're most likely to be a victim of somebody in your own racial group. And and that's because you live with those people the most, okay? But what is the rates of it? And the black on black crime they were talking about is a black individual harming a black individual. There is black on black crime. There's white on white crime too. Um, and and I think the problem is accountability. And I think Black Lives Matter is a perfect example of not taking accountability because they're not marching for black women that are unalived by jealous boyfriends or black people assaulted by black people. It's got to be the white, and like you said, Black Lives Matter, it's the white male police officer. That's the perfect thing they want. But is that really helping black people or just keeping the accountability away from, you know, black people in general? And I would say, and I believe this with all my heart. If a man has no accountability, he's no good. If he has an excuse, he's not going to be worth a darn. Um, we got to face up to our failures. All people do. We all have them. And if we blame somebody else, we're never going to be better. And I think that's what's harming the black community. I don't think, one race is not better than the other. We're all human beings, but if we're not held accountable, we're no good. And we get worse. And I think that's what's happening. You know? But anyway.
Exactly. No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, you can hear me?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. I thought I was still on mute. No, you're absolutely right. It's the lack of accountability, and every time that something happens, it's always someone else's fault. Why you didn't do what you did? It's either white supremacists or it's black
Mhm.
women, right? White supremacists didn't allow me to build anything, right? White supremacy
Mhm.
didn't allow me to, you know, to do XYZ. You understand what I'm saying? Um, Black women didn't allow me to stay in the home. It's always something. And until the community self-corrects, which I don't think at this point it's going to self-correct because it's too far gone. The mentality is too far gone because whatever happens it's never your fault. Like how many police videos I watch um where black people was like, oh, it's the police and police brutality, and it was like, okay, Reverend Al Sharpton, I believe, or was it Jesse Jackson? It was like, oh well, I need to start putting body cameras on now,
Mhm.
to show the world that that the police officers are harassing black people. And so you got the police body cam, and what you're seeing is that the black people are disrespectful. They're cursing out the police, and it actually had the adverse effect that they thought it was gonna happen. These police officers are not going out. The police officers is like, listen, you're doing 80 in a 40 miles per hour lane. Can I see a light? Why? No, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's too far gone. It's not gonna self correct because it would have self corrected a long time ago. And also black women with the femicide rate, black women are to blame as well, because black women have a hard time calling out the people that's hurting them because it's black men, and they are taught that you cannot go against the black man because the whole world is against them. The white man is against them. And if call, I think they did a study that said that black women are the least to
Yes.
um wha- uh
The
to
least to report a
report,
crime
yeah,
or
to domestic
yeah.
violence, because again, it's the big bad white man is out to get him. And it's not only that, the community is most likely are gonna be against her. Like, why you call the cops, on a black man? That's a black man that, and black men have a free reign to do whatever they want to do. They can go, they have their passport, they can date whoever they want to date. It's so funny how um I know it's not the topic, but it just seems like they can do whatever they want to do. But for somehow the white man is holding them back from, but except for getting their passport and dating however whatever race of woman, because everybody wants them, or whatever. It's holding them
Yeah.
back. So you can't call the cop even though you're getting abused, because you have to protect the black man, because everybody's out to get him. And so nothing is going to change. You have to be the change what you want. You can't talk about it and then complain about it and then sit down and do absolutely nothing. At some point, people are going to look at you and say, "Well, no, you're the problem, because you're not doing anything different, but you're not calling out the problem." And so the problem persists. And so nobody can help you. If you don't want to help yourself, is no amount of videos that you're going to come up here and make, Brent, and say, "Oh, we got to stop it," if the people that's the victims are not going to stop it. I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have to be the change you want.
Yeah. And that accountability thing is crazy because I showed a video a while back of Mahogany Jackson
Yes,
and
I heard about
how
that.
she was unalived by 8 people, black
Hmm.
men and black women. It was horrible what they did. And I was doing the point, and I showed Sade Robinson with that creepy white dude. I said, okay, there's evil on both sides, and trying to get people to look. Hey, it's not the color, it's the character. But I got a reaction. One guy says, "Well, it's your fault that," and I'm like, "Wait a minute. I don't know Mahogany Jackson. I just know the case." Well, if it's the white man's fault because they're probably in poverty, nobody helped them, and I'm like, "Oh my God, they unalived this woman. They raped her. They pistol whipped her. They put a bullet in the back of her head when they were done with her." Um, and I'm like, you can't even take accountability for that. And it's not all black people doing that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, come on. It's like they hide that because they don't even want a bad look. It's crazy.
Yeah. It
And
it is
with that, with that, it's like some of these people might commit crimes because it's not their fault. It's white supremacy or this and that. And not saying there ain't white supremacy, but I think it's used way more than what it's really doing. You know.
And this is why now you have, you know, I'm going to be honest. This is why now you have black fatigue,
Yeah.
because people are saying, "No, we're sick and tired of it." It's not. Everything is not because of because of racial whatever. It's a lot of time it's your attitude. It's you. It's how it's your behavior. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? And people are not. And this is why people is like, we're not. First of all, when black women stop marching and stuff like that, then nobody march, because, like I said, if black women don't move, the community doesn't move, and it's going to
Right.
be it has to be up to black women to move. When we was telling black women, listen, the love is not reciprocal. The respect is not reciprocal. Stop doing these for these black men. They don't like you. They don't love you. They don't respect you. They put every other race of woman above you. Stop.
Yeah.
You got to stop practicing limerence. Is when now you don't see, for the most part, anymore, this big show of the Black Lives Matter marching and stuff like that, because you know, if black men are the leaders, let them go out and lead. Let them be on the front lines. You're a woman. 1 minute you're too
Right.
masculine, you're too loud, but then when they need your voice to scream and be loud, and they need for you to be the guard dog, for you to go out there and face men in that's armed, that could legally and have the legal right to unalive you, then it's okay. But anything else is not, and you got to stop doing that. So that's why you don't see a uptick anymore in the marching and the stuff, because we tell black women, listen, you got to stop that. Let these men that's winning, okay, let these men that say that you're on the bottom and nobody wants you, let these other races of women march for them, and you're not seeing that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So if like I said, when Joe Budden had his podcast, and he was talking, I forgot the lady's name, but she was Hispanic, and he was complaining, and he was like, oh well, I noticed that, like, with Hispanic women, when something happens to black men, y'all don't come out and have black men's back and stuff like that. And I wonder why. And the Hispanic lady was like, well, why don't you, if you're complaining that we don't have your back, why don't you date your own race of women? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on. These women are resting in their femininity, and that's what we were trying to beat into black women's head, including minds. Like, stop being a guard dog and a mule for a race of men that do not like it. Point
Yeah.
blank, period.
And and women shouldn't be out marching. Um.
On the
I.
front line.
Yeah. I would never want any woman marching for me. I mean, that's what men should do. Um, but other races of women aren't marching for the. You don't see the Hispanic women marching for the Hispanic man, or the
Nope.
Asian woman for the Asian man, or nothing like that.
No, no.
Um, but I just wish we, as a country, would have a mindset to where we have where we look at a person's character, and we look at somebody's their heart, and make a choice that way. And because this race loyal thing, it's
It
not
doesn't.
working too well, and
It,
especially for black women.
no,
Um,
it's not. It never did. And we have to show the new generation um that it's not. And it's working. I really do, because now you see a lot more black women that's opening up their options. Um, and that's what the whole divestment movement was about. And that's what I wanted to
yeah,
talk to you about too. That I'm
yeah,
glad that you brought up the proper um meaning of divestment, because a lot of people do not understand. And you brought out the right meaning of it is to divest from. It's more like the mentality, like you got to stay away from just the dusties, the men and women in the community. You know what I mean? Like you just have to
Yeah.
divest yourself from anything that doesn't serve you within the community. And that's what the divestment movement was about.
Yeah,
You know?
and people mistake it for interracial dating. Like
Right.
they'll call black women dating a white man a divester. That don't make her a divester.
No.
And,
You have a
they'll
lot of
even
mammies that's still that would go out and get a white man that's just as dusty as Tyrone and the Pookie and
yeah,
the babies.
yeah, and that's my thing too. Is I promote interracial dating and marriage, but you got to have your standards because the powder dust is out there. I'm just going to say it.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not going to pretend that us white men are all virtuous and we just no, no. Um, you know, but there are a lot of good white men that love black women that would love to date black women and have a relationship. And there's Asian men that would love to date black women. And if we look at it, if we look at it logically,
Mhm.
what's best for black women? Who's at their level? A lot of black women are moving up with education and in the corporate world and doing, and some black women are leaving their male counterparts behind. And, that can create problems too because that creates jealousy and if you're with a jealous man to begin with, oh my God, and a lot of these cases I'm seeing on the news are a lot of these guys are abusive, jealous, controlling, and you see these women a lot of times are have good careers. A lot of these women are nurses, in the medical field. Some are, moving up with their education. That young lady I did that news report on, she was a Princeton graduate. She's what, 23 years old, graduated from Princeton. That's a heck of an accomplishment. They said she had a small business going. She was doing good things, moving up. And I don't know what the guy that unalived her was doing, but it just, a lot of times I see black women having the date and marry down like Kevin Samuels told black women to do. And that's not good advice at all for any woman. No woman should date and marry down. I don't care what the race is. Women should go for a man that can protect and provide for her. You know,
Right.
and oh, yeah,
But
but
it's the mentality. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, but I was saying in the black community, it seems like it's going backwards, where the woman's the breadwinner a lot of times, and the men want to be taken care of. It's just weird. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it
No,
appears to be.
you're absolutely you can hear me? Oh, I don't
Yeah, I
sound
can
like
hear you.
Oh, okay. You're absolutely right. That is the norm, and that's the mentality. Like I said, like you brought up, it's what black women have been taught, and it's hard to break something that you've been taught for so long.
Hmm.
It's a cycle. You understand what I'm saying? And somebody saying being unequally yoked usually doesn't work, but that's what is
Yeah.
constantly beat in black women's head. You have to build up a man, you have to build him up. They're constantly called gold diggers, but then when you say, well, I have this degree and have this thing, they say, well, your degree doesn't matter. So which one is it? Am I a gold digger, or does so when I go out there and get a job and get a go to school and accomplish and get a degree where I can work at a great job so that I don't have to be considered a gold digger, you clown me for that. So you can't win. Nothing you do, you can't win. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's it is. so it's they're double-minded. And then I forgot the scripture in the Bible that said that a man that's double-minded is unstable in all things, right?
Mhm.
So 1 minute you're a gold digger, but then when I go and get this job and I'm independent, then I'm too independent. You know what I mean? So you can't. What's the phrase? You win for losing. You can't lose for winning, or whatever the phrase
Can't,
is.
can't, can't win for losing.
You
Yeah.
can't win for losing. So it doesn't matter what you do, and so you have to stop listening to things that don't serve you. Like and that's what the divestment is about. You got to stop listening to these pookies and the Ray-Rays in the community, because they don't want anything good for you. They want you to stay stuck. They just want you in a cycle. They want you in a perpetual state of poverty. That's the word I was
Right.
looking for. Of poverty. And when you date down, you're in a constant state of poverty. Okay. And then when they make a certain amount of money, they tend to move out of the community and date whoever they want to date, and that's okay. But then for Black women, you have to stay and build a man. But then when they're built, they go out for the woman that they really want. And that's why you have women on the channel that's saying that you don't build a man up. You know what I mean? That he's supposed to already be established before he come and get a wife. If you're not established, you don't have a job, whatever, you shouldn't be out here dating and looking for a woman. But everything is so backwards now that that the Pookies and the Ray-Rays are getting children, and the children are born in poverty.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's another thing that's hurting the Black community is out of wedlock birth rates. And
Oh, sorry to cut you off, but did you watch the video I sent you?
yeah, I did.
Oh,
I
that would be
did. Thanks
a
for
great
sending
another
that.
topic.
Oh God, yeah. But you know what? That's not surprising to me. Um,
It's not?
it no, no, it's not. And the reason I say is, well, a couple years ago it would surprise me, but I've been looking at the stats, and the number of what's it called,
The birth rate?
the birth rate, yeah. um Before, I remember years ago they were expecting a explosion of Black people. There's going to be so many, um and it didn't pan out to be that way. And and their numbers are have been, for a few years, have been stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
White people's numbers have been stagnant for quite a while, and it's just a society we live in that, well, you look at a lot of people, they're about making money, and they might have one or two kids. In the past, people had 12, 14, 15 kids. Like, I look at my grandparents, they come from big families.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm considered to have a big family. I got 3 children, and people like, man, you got a lot of kids. Back in the day, they'd say you don't have many kids. You know what I mean? Um, and I think interracial relationships is dwindling the numbers of white people, because when they count, like, I got 3 children, right? My brother, he has 2. If they did a census on us, they count his children as white children because his wife's white. My wife's Black. They're not going to count my children as white. So it looks like between me and my brother, only 2 kids, only 2 offspring, right?
Yeah.
When there's actually 5. Um, And in society around the world, the birth rate's going down because people are more into making money and more into financial situation. What is a different world. Back when everybody was farmers, you had a bunch of kids to work the land, right? But
Yeah.
it but that don't surprise me. And then the abortion rates, that took a toll. Um, and I look at all that stuff, and yeah,
It's a lot
I
too, but it's even now like it's too with the economy going the way it is. It's not. It's you have to have a lot of money to have children, and a lot
yeah,
of
you
people
do.
don't have money, and then a lot of times too, the mentality change as well. Like like you were taught that you had to have children, and now it's more of a choice. Like you don't have to have children if you don't want to.
Right.
If you didn't have children as a woman back in the day, you was looked at as being less than. And I mean, you have that now where people, you a cat lady, you're gonna die alone and all that stuff and blah blah
Hmm.
blah and stuff like that. By the end of the day, um it's not as stigmatized as it is as much. And I just feel like people want to live their lives. Like as for me, I know it's not the topic, but as for
Oh,
me,
we could deviate.
I thank you. As for me, I knew at an early age, I think I was like at 13. I knew back then I didn't want any children. It was just something that like popped in my mind. I was like, no, I don't want no kids. And people would kind of find it strange, like you were a child, like you were 13. Like how would you know? Like, well, how would that come up in your mind? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like one day I was just like looking around. I was like, I don't want no kids. I think maybe I was at a party or something like that. And I was like, these little kids running around. I'm like, no, I don't want this at all. And
Right.
so you have a lot of people that just don't want to have children, that just decided that, they're not gonna have children. And also the mindset too, you because I'm telling you, Brent, the community is so backwards that at one point, I don't know if you know, that at one point the Black Panthers was saying to Black women that if they took contraception, that it was um it was white supremacy
Mm.
to get. Yes, you can look it
Yeah,
up. If I find the
I
video,
believe
I'm
you.
gonna send it. They were saying
Okay.
that if you took like contraceptive to prevent pregnancy, that was white supremacy because it was trying to get rid of the Black population. I
Mm.
kid you not. When I find the video, I will email it to you, right? And
Right.
then so they didn't want Black women to take contraception when it first came out because it was white supremacy. Then they bashed Black women for getting rid of the baby. I'm telling you, the community is backwards. It's a
Hmm.
backwards community. So then when you go and get rid of the child, or whatever, then you're a woman. If you take contraception, you're the right hand of white supremacy because you're going against a Black man by taking contraception. And so a lot of Black women did not take contraception, and then they had children out of wedlock because to take
Yeah.
contraception was white supremacy. I kid you not. Like it's the ment. I have never seen a more
Yeah.
backward. I have never witnessed a more backward race of people. I'm sorry that might sound racist, but it's true. I have never witnessed a more backward race of people in my life. Like I can't. It's crazy to me. I can't even fathom. Like no other race didn't. And right. And then somebody said they didn't even push marriage either. They didn't push
Yeah.
marriage. Right? So you tell them that contraception is white supremacy, then you promote hip hop where calling women bees and hoes and promote promiscuity in the men and the women and and glorify the men that have children with multiple women. but then you just
Yeah.
blame it on the woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a backwards mentality. You glorify those men. You understand what I'm saying? You glorify those men. If he don't have 3 or 4 kids, with 3 or 4 women, that he's not a man. You understand? He's not real. If he hasn't been to prison, and he's not real. He had to have been to
Yeah.
prison, and he had to rap about being in prison. And if you don't rap about being in prison, and you're a lame, and that is the man that these black men push. And so they push them on these black women, and saying that black women, these are the masculine men, these are the men that you choose. So then when she chooses them, then she's wrong for choosing them. But that's what y'all promote. If
Yeah.
y'all promote wholeness and family man and values, then that's what the woman will promote. The woman is only following your lead.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you blame them for not taking contraception, because that was white supremacy. You usher in gangster rap that don't talk about marriage. You don't promote marriage. You promote men that been to prison, that's hard, that have baby mama drama or whatever. They then promiscuity. Then these women follow your lead, being bitch. I'm sorry, and hoes and Planned Parenthood, and the men don't do anything about it. That's what they promote.
Right.
It's the culture.
Yeah, it is. It's like it. It's crazy. It's like putting the black woman in the catch-22 situation.
Exactly.
You got to do this and be down with the man, and then when he don't stick around, then you should have chose better.
You should have chosen better.
And then when you try to open up your options, well, you're a part of white supremacy. Um, I'm hearing I've heard people say that black women are the right hand of white supremacy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how is that so?
Can I say something, Brent, really quick?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to point out someone in your chat.
Mhm.
I don't know who it's from, but the person said Dolores Tucker tried to stop it with 2 Live Crew, but she was shut down. So here we are today with this nonsense. Thank you for because I didn't remember the lady's name. So what this woman is talking about is that can you put the year up where she was trying to shut down gangster rap? The name was Dolores Tucker. And she came, yes, thank you. She tried to talk against it, but then black men shut her down.
Mm.
It was black men, yep, it was black men that shut her down. That basically that said that she was wrong, because she called out that the degradation of gangster rap and yeah. Oh, okay, so it was in the 90s. Thank you very much. And
Okay.
yeah, they shut her down. They shut her down.
Oh, look at this, Kathleen King. I'll be 67 in December. Seen a lot. I'm still with my non-black husband for 35 years. That's awesome. That's amazing. God bless you and your husband,
That's a
Kathleen.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Well, me and Sandy been married 31 years.
That's a
You
beautiful
know,
thing too.
a lot of interracial relationships are lasting many years. And it goes to show a black woman's character. With us white men, when we marry black women, we get the best result of all women. Do you know that?
Yes.
And when black men date out, they get the worst. It gets worse. And what I've learned from that is the black woman's character. black men and white men do better with black women than any other group of women on this earth when it
Yes,
comes
it's
to
true.
marriage. Do you know that?
Yes, yes. It has
So
been studied for years.
yeah, when I see black women being blamed for, out of wedlock pregnancies and stuff in the black community, it's not the black woman's fault. Like you said, women only get what we give them. They follow our lead, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
if we're trash men, all we're doing is producing trash, and accountability is very important for everybody, but most so for men. Like I said, us men, we're knuckleheads. We got to be held accountable for
Mm-hmm.
us to be any good. And I'm being honest. I look at my life growing up, and if my father didn't hold me accountable, God help me, who knows where I'd be? I might not be alive right now. I'm just.
Yeah,
It's all about accountability.
but in the black community, you have a race of men that's blaming the woman for everything, and nothing is
Yeah,
going to change.
yeah, and that's the downfall right there. Because once you do that, like I said, when you don't have accountability, how can you ever improve? Because nothing is your fault. Um, and it is what it is. I mean, and it's human nature to blame somebody else or have an excuse. Us as human beings, we always take the path of least resistance. That's just in our nature. But we got to fight against it. We need accountability before we can become better, before we can fix our flaws and be good men. We got to have accountability. Um, and like you're saying, blaming women ain't that ain't the answer. That just says that the women are leaders and you're not
And
when you blame them.
thank you very much. That's exactly what they're saying, without
Yeah.
saying, but they're too stupid to realize. But
Hmm.
Brent, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say this one last thing. I'm
Okay.
glad that you brought up the hypocrisy in this whole divestment going wrong and black
Yeah.
femicide, because it's just another one of those black hypocrisy that goes on within the black community, that they will not report on their criminality, um and they just, like I said, black lives only matter when it's taken by a non-black person. And
Yeah.
so I'm really happy that you brought this topic up. And I also would like to make a request, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Um,
ahead.
I would like for you uh to for the video that I sent you, if you can do a live, and
Okay.
to on the topic, and to just listen what they say, and probably we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Um,
Okay.
sure.
Thank
You want to
you.
talk about the birth rates and stuff,
Yes,
and
yes.
okay, and yeah, we sure can.
Okay. I wanted your reaction, your opinion about it, to see what you thought.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely give my opinion. Yeah, I could do that.
All right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that would be a good topic. Thanks for sending that. But let me go through it and get some more data.
Mm-hmm.
Let me research some data, and we can compare it to black and white and other groups. Hispanic is the biggest when it comes to having children. They're having
Yes.
more than all of
Yeah.
us.
Yes, they are.
And we can talk about why that is. And I think for white people, I think it's we're chasing the dollar. I'm just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, unless you're traditional, I always wanted to have a lot of kids. I have 3 kids, and I almost lost my wife on my youngest daughter. But if she had healthy births, we'd have more kids. I'm sure of it. We both love children. Um, but some people don't want to have children. That's fine too. I don't harp on the birth rates like some people do. Like some people say, and some of the real white supremacists that come at me every now and then,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell me that I'm committing racial genocide and I'm diluting my race and all that nonsense. But I just don't care. I don't care what the majority of people are as long as they're good people. You know,
I agree.
and we're going to be multiracial the further we go anyway. So just embrace it. We're people. What we need to do is teach people accountability, character. I think we need to go back to marriage. The value of marriage, a man and a woman. And not saying everybody has to get married if you don't, but I think it would help society. More traditional marriages, our kids would be raised in a more stable environment, And when I say our kids, all our kids in our country, you know. But anyway,
Yes. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
oh,
Have
thank
a
you for coming
great
up here.
night. Yes, and say hi to Sandy and hi everyone in the chat. Y'all have a good night.
You too, Shelley. Thanks for coming up. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Have a good night. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay. Put the camera back on. Went through the avatar for a while. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. My whole point on this show tonight is to put out the truth. Okay? And to learn what things are like divestment. Learn what that really means before you start talking about it. And I wanted to put the definition I found, okay? And and black femicide is very important that we know about this. And it seems like the media ain't really reporting it that much, and people really don't care about black femicide unless it's a white man that's involved. Then, we'll go into divestment gone wrong titles. But that's not really what that is, you know. And black femicide is our fault, okay? And we need more accountability to stop this. We won't stop evil totally, but we can suppress it, you know, and we can do better. And we could treat black women better. We could treat them with love and respect. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. And I'll see you guys soon. I just want to say a prayer before I go. Okay, I try to make it a point to say a prayer every time, and that's just me showing my love to my God, and praying for you guys, and I'd just like to say, Lord, thank you so much for this show tonight. Thank you for allowing me to come up here and talk about this hard topic, Lord, and please give me the courage to tell the truth and not be afraid what names I'll be called, and not be afraid to go out there and do my research and have the courage to tell people the truth, Lord. I pray you give me that courage and don't let me ever lose it. Lord, I pray you bless everybody here tonight. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. And my whole point tonight was to put the truth out there and talk about divestment. What does divestment mean? A lot of people think it's interracial dating, and that's not it at all. And you know, I wanted to cover the black femicide rates, okay, and show people numbers, you know, because I could just spew whatever I want to say, but I want to show you numbers while I'm talking. And I want you guys say a prayer to these young ladies' families, okay? These two young ladies I showed tonight, they have children that lost a mother. They have a father that lost a daughter, a mother that lost a daughter, okay? And just put a prayer out for that. And I want to thank Shelly for coming up. She always has a good, I enjoy talking to her. She always has an awesome perspective, and she puts things the way they really are. And I love her input. And I'm glad she came up tonight. And Shelly, I will do a live show on that topic, that video you sent me, and I do appreciate you. And anyway, guys, you guys have a good night. God bless you and your families. And I'll see you guys Saturday night. Okay? Have a good night. God bless.